Hey everybody, we are here doing some tables and deciding whether or not they're linear, exponential, or neither. And if they are one of the two, so if they're either linear or exponential, then we are going to write the equations for them. So we're going to start off with table A. So what we're going to notice is that on all of my x values, you can see that they are all going up by 1 every single time. And then we look at our y's, you can see that they're going not too crazy, but you can see that this one's going up by 1, but then this one goes up by 3. This is going up by 5, and immediately after the first set, I can tell that this is not consistent. So this is not anything. This is not a linear because it's not going up by the same number every single time, and it is not an exponential, which would be multiplying. So this is neither. So let's take a look at table 2 or table B. X's are going up by 1. So again, because they are going up by the same amount, that's not the first indicator because sometimes they don't always necessarily get, you don't necessarily change your values from your table, are not always consistent, but that doesn't mean automatically that it is not a constant rate. So you have to look at the ratio of the y values to the x values first to see if they're consistent or not. So if I look at this y value set, it goes from 60 within 4 of whatever it is that we're talking about for the x. You can see that it goes from 60 up to 15,360. There's no way that you're going to be doing that with numbers that start off this low and end up this high by just adding a same number, unless it's a big number, but it's not consistent. It wouldn't be adding the same number. So the first thing I'm thinking about is probably multiplication. Now, if I'm not sure the multiplication factor, what I can do is just take any of the numbers, since this is all going up by 1s, I can take any number and divide it by its previous number. So I can do 240 divided by 60 if I'm not sure of what that factor is, and I can get it, and that is 4. So this is going to be 60 times 4 would give me 240. And then if this is truly an exponential, every other value will be multiplied by 4 to get the next value. And you can do that anytime if you're not sure about a set of numbers, if it's multiplying by a certain number. This one would be a little bit easier to do because you can probably figure out that times 4 would be the answer. But if it's like a weird number or a decimal, you can always take the number and divide it by the previous number as long as they're going up by 1s. So you want to just make sure that your consistency is there. So this is times 4. So each one of these, if I multiply times 4, we're going to get the next number in line. So that is going to be exponential. This is times. So that is our growth factor, which is times 4. So we're going to start off with the initial. The initial is always our beginning value, where 0 is x. It's known as our y-intercept. So we're going to do f of x for the equation. So we start off with 60, that's my starting value. And then we're going to times this by the growth rate, which is 4. And then that's going to be to the x power. Now I'm going to actually stop. I'll do these other two in another video. I do want to bring this up because this was brought up in my last class. So I'm going to just share with you guys something really interesting about this. And that is, we're on Desmos, good old Desmos. I'm just going to show you what the difference is because somebody in my class had asked me today, can I just multiply 60 times 4 and get 240? So let's take a look at this, what happens when we do it just the way we have it in here. So we have 60, which is the starting value, times, and then we have 4 to the x power. Now, and then somebody just brought this up in my other class. So this is what the graph looks like. So you can see, it starts off very far away from the y-axis. Now I'm going to do this with the same thing. However, in this case, I'm going to do just the multiplication. 2 of these numbers multiply together, which would be 240 to the x power. And I'm going to just show you how it looks. That's what it looks like. That blue line that you see is the difference. Now, the reason why this is different, if you look at this, this is saying that the y-intercept is 1. So that's what's missing. That is a huge difference between this and this. Even though normally you would just multiply numbers, the problem is the order of exponents needs to be done first before you go doing multiplication. So that is a huge difference. So if you do have questions like that, you can definitely take a look at that. That's definitely something you need to be focused on. And again, if you want more questions like this, find them on my YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at YouWantAlgebra. These are all going to be located in the exponential functions section.